We got a question from Aaron. What would you recommend on top of, in addition to the perfect workout? Well, how could you add anything to the perfect workout? I have time for more plus or minus 30 minutes, 5 days a week. I'm curious what you would recommend for a healthy, formally strong 45-year-old man. I train in my garage, our equipment, lots of kettlebells, sandbags, stones, assorted heavy objects, dumbbells, barbells, blah, blah. He's got it all. Okay. Well, the perfect workout, I have it here on YouTube, me demonstrating, but let me just give you the variation that most people do. It's 3 rounds of 8 of half kneeling press times 8 left, half kneeling press times 8 right, and then a 30-second hang, and you do 3 rounds of that. After that, you walk over to I like kettlebells. You do the goblet squat to overhead squat lift. It's funny, I usually say 8, but when I'm doing it, I only seem to do 5. And then after that, let's just simplify it even more. A hip thrust variation. I also include some other things, but I have the magic drill and the Bulgarian goat bag. But let's just do hip thrusts, and I want you to go to failure on those. I want you, the way we do it is you double band to failure, take off a band, single band to failure, take off a band, and now you have no bands, and then you just grind out as many reps as you can. And then you pick up a bell, one single bell, and you suitcase carry out and back. Now, obviously, there's more to it, but the idea of the perfect workout from my book, Can You Go? This is how I think you should train twos, people who need mobility. And so you're doing these mobility movements. The half kneeling press is a mobility movement. The hang, the hip thrust weirdly might not be, but for a lot of people, it exposes the tightness in certain parts. Goblet squat, overhead squat, and the suitcase carry, you say, well, that's not a mobility movement. But a lot of people just need that the strength through here, and it seems to help. Well, since it only takes 9 to 10, 15 minutes, now you have all the time in the world to do other things. I mean, with the equipment you have, I would just add a lot more loaded carries, at least one day a week. Just throw the sleds and the heavy objects, the stones, the sandbags. We do the grade 8 workout. You put 8 things out there. You pick them up. You walk them back. You pick up the next thing. You walk it back. You pick up. You just keep picking things up, carrying it down to a spot, bring it back, and go to the next one. By the way, it's exhausting. If you're doing that with waiter walk, rack carry, suitcase walk, farmer walk with a trap bar, sandbag over the shoulder, and you've got sleds, 1 or 2 sled pulls, it's a lot of work. I would work at least one day a week, do that. And then the most important thing for you, Aaron, on this particular question is for you to figure out what you need. I mean, if I was just living off the perfect workout for my mobility, I would probably have an additional day a week where I would do nothing but Tim Anderson's original strength. I would do the neck nods, the find your back pocket, the egg rolls, the speed skaters, the gait pattern stuff, the maybe infinity. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. I'm just giving you examples. But I would really spend 1 or 2 days a week working on that, because that's going to help your mobility. Now, since you said you want to be a healthy, formally strong guy, I would also so 1 day a week do all the loaded carry stuff. 1 or 2 days a week do that extra mobility stuff. And then 1 other day a week, you said formally strong, just maybe pick an exercise for 3 weeks and say, well, I'm going to get strong on this lift again, military press for 3 weeks. And at the end of the 3 weeks, say, oh, okay, that's good. And then find another lift and do something akin to the 1 lift a day program with the perfect workout as the spice. I don't know, kind of sounds good to me. The most important thing, though, is you just got to kind of experiment and play around and think things through a little bit, okay? Aaron, great question, and I appreciate that. It's a good question. When I give people the perfect workout, usually it's a busy person who has mobility issues and can mix mobility work with that little workout, and all we're just trying to do is kind of get them into More mobility tends to help people with their sleep. The sleep helps them with the body composition, and then it just goes, you get that nice little cascade of things happening. Thank you. Fun question. Thank you.